Welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Yeah, I got my Florida Gator flag in the background, just like Hannah has this psychedelic, hippie-ish type flag in the background. Hannah, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. So now I'm not trying to be like a chauvinist, but God, I'm your boobs are looking extra bigger with the pregnancy right now.
Yeah, as they should. I had big boobs to start with, so it's really hard finding my size and fucking anything.
So what's going on up in Canada? I just saw on your social media that you had a gender reveal party. How did that go? Number one, before you tell me, just hold off to tell me what the gender was. But I want to find out about the party, okay? So did you guys go all out? Because a lot of people try to go over the top when it comes to these gender reveal parties. So describe the party. Who was all there? Did your dad go?
Yeah, okay. So we didn't decide to go all out. Like we maybe spent about $300 on it all. Like we got some little pins so you could kind of decide whether you thought it was a boy or a girl. And then we had some pictures and some cute little cupcakes and all the bullshit, the balloons, and we had a potluck as well. I didn't want to make it super fancy because a lot of my family didn't show up. I had 2 members of my family and anybody that I knew actually show up for me. So I had my mom and my grandma that showed up. Of course, my dad wasn't going to show up, but he did supply the food. So, kudos to him.
Okay.
That was his fee for not wanting to come is, you're going to buy all the food.
Well, that's that. I mean, at least, Lyle opened up the pockets. He's a baller. So, he was going to throw it out there. So, now, how do you get along with your baby's daddy family? Like, do you get along with all of them? Did you meet some for the first time?
No, I didn't meet anybody for the first time. Everyone that was there, I kind of already knew. I get along with his family really well. Actually, my family thinks it's good because I need more of like a family structure, and for a kid to bring a kid into the world, you need more of a family structure. So his side definitely has that. They're definitely like the white picket, like we're all happy and amazing. So
Yeah. So now, before you tell me what the gender of the baby was, like everybody does these creative ways on how they reveal the gender. How did you guys do it?
So Devin has this Subaru that he's rebuilt and he absolutely loves it. It's like a rare hatchback. I don't know, whatever the fuck he does. I like trucks. I'm a truck person, so I don't really care. But so what we did was we took a bunch of powder and we put it in the exhaust. We just shoved like a ton of what the color was in the exhaust. And then as soon as you started the car and you revved it, all that powder would come out of the exhaust and you could see the gender of the baby.
All right. I mean, that's a very creative way. I mean, I've seen them like put because you can get tires that have the color on them and stuff. So, I mean, that's a creative way I've not seen before. So now, what was the gender?
So the gender was exactly what we were hoping for. We were hoping for a boy, so we got a boy.
Now, have you guys already like come up with a name and stuff, or?
Yeah, we've discussed names. I'm pretty sure like it didn't really take us long to figure out what we wanted for names. So we had 2 that we narrowed down that we really like. So I like
name it. I'm saying naming it after your dad would get you some points,
as much as I love my dad, I just decided that my dad's name is going to be the middle name.
Okay.
Yeah, so for first names, we were deciding it was between Cohen and Beau, like Beau. That's how you spell handsome in French.
Like Beau, yeah.
Yeah, so we were deciding between Cohen and Bo, and then Dad actually, with his fucking loud mouth, spoke up and he said, "I don't like the name Cohen. It sounds too much like colon." So ever since he said that, I can't get over it. So I think we
Well,
decided Bo.
you have to be careful on what you name your kid, because you went to school, you know how kids can be dicks,
Oh
and
yeah.
you don't want to give them a name where anybody can rhyme something with it or kind of correlate it with another name like colon. So I think your dad was actually being kind of smart, in my opinion.
And that was exactly his point. He said, like, this kid's gonna get bullied to hell if you decide to name him Cohen. So I was like, you got a point. And I ended up liking Bo a lot more. So we're thinking first name is Bo, and then the middle name would be Lyle.
Okay, so now how far along are you right now?
Right now what day is it today? Monday. So I'm almost at 22 weeks. So I'm at 21 in 2 days. I'm coming on 22.
Okay, so now have you guys started the Lamaze classes and stuff, or do you guys plan on doing that?
So I'm currently enrolling. I have a absolutely shitty eating habit. I love fast food, like McDonald's, like fucking you name it. So I'm enrolling myself into like a health class, just to, try and get me away from a lot of the fast food shit that I'm eating.
Well, because you're eating, the baby is eating everything you're eating. So you don't want the baby to come out craving the fast food. Everybody says, and I'm not comparing your kid, but you look at the crack addicts here in the United States, they come out craving and being addicted to drugs. So you don't want the baby coming out right away being addicted to fast food.
Yeah, of course. And I don't want my kid, like, I'm a pretty small girl. Like, I weighed 110 pounds and I'm like 5'3", right? So I'm very small, and I don't want my kid to get really fat, because there's no fucking way I'm pushing that out of me. That would be
Yeah,
way
see,
too much.
you've talked about this being small, or being a smaller person.
Mhm.
Like, are you curvy at all? Do you have hips on you at all, or no?
Yeah, I do. Like, I've always had like a little bit of a nicer ass, and I've always had like bigger boobs. So I guess I'm just trying to think of an example I could give you. So I guess for my grad dress when I was graduating high school, which was like obviously quite a few years ago now, but I'm not that
Not
old, I
really.
promise.
You're only like 21.
But
Not even
for my
21.
grad, I actually had to order a size 4 because my boobs were bigger here, and then my hips were also bigger, and then they had to tailor it to a 0 in the middle. So
So
they
you got
had
like
to
the
actually,
hourglass. You got the hourglass feature.
yes, I'm a skinny thick, I guess is what
I mean, that's
modern day
good.
would call it.
So, are you worried though, being a smaller person? I'm not calling you a midget, but you're not a big girl. But what I'm trying to say is, like, are you prepared if it comes down to it to get a C-section though?
I'm assuming by the time I get to 9 months, I'm not
You really
really
don't
gonna
have a choice.
care. Yeah, I'm not really gonna care how this thing's coming out of me. I'm just gonna be like, I want it out, and I want it out now. So if it has to be a C-section, then so be it. It saves my sniz from being, absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
So I'm totally okay with it. Like, either way, I'm assuming I'm just gonna want it out. So
So what has the sex life been right now between you and Devin? Like, do you guys still, or are you guys taking a break right now? Because I feel like that's the reason why I have a dent on the top of my head. Because I think my parents were having sex all the way until the day before.
Well, actually, like there's a science to it that it actually, like, there's no way someone's dick is gonna be as big to reach the baby. I mean, I personally wasn't blessed for some reason with this whole, like, oh, super sexual during pregnancy, because you hear about that where girls, their hormones boost
Their
and
hormones,
they
they want to.
pregnancy. I unfortunately was not blessed with that. It takes a lot for me to be like, okay, fine, I guess let's do it, whatever, because I'm just so grumpy and I just, I'm not confident with my body as I used to be and things like that. And honestly, I'm to the point where I'm like, I kind of fucking hate you. You did this to me. I just don't want to. But we do every once in a while, you
Now,
have to keep the relationship going, right?
are you moisturizing the belly? Because I've heard that you want to keep moisturizing the belly so you don't get bad stretch marks and stuff.
Yeah, so I moisturize. I don't moisturize every day because I don't want to get super oily. But I do moisturize about every second day when I shower.
Mm.
So every time I'm in and out of the shower or whatever, I'm always moisturizing. But I'm finding that that's not helping. Like, so far, my belly is totally fine. I don't have any stretch marks there. My legs are all good. My ass is fine, even though I can't fit into the half of the fucking jeans I bought for maternity. But my boobs actually have quite a bit of stretch marks on them, and I can't take that back. Like, even though I moisturize my boobs, you can't take it back.
Well, but the good thing is that you're having the kid while you're young, because when you're younger, around your age, the skin is more elastic. So I think it'll bounce back. I really do.
Oh yeah, as soon as I want to hit the gym right after, the kid's born. Well, not right after, obviously, but after the kid's born, I want to start hitting the gym so that it's gonna bounce back a lot easier. Even though I know it will already, I feel like that's just gonna help everything. So
Um, so have you thought, are you going to breastfeed your son, or are you going to use formula?
so what I was gonna do is I was gonna do kind of like a supplementing. So
Mm,
I was going to breastfeed as well as bottle feed. I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to breastfeed for very long. I know there is
yeah.
some nutrients in there that the baby does need for like the first couple weeks, right? So I was going to do like some supplementing, and eventually the baby's just going to build preference for the bottle anyway. So
Yeah.
that's how I was going to do it. Is I wasn't going to breastfeed for super long. I was still going to do it because I know it's beneficial, but I was also going to bottle feed with formula as well.
But it's also good for bonding, though. They
Oh,
say the bonding between mother and child is formed from doing that as well too.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? Because there's a lot of people that say, you have to breastfeed. It's the bonding, it's the whatever. And I totally want to get that. I want to have that experience. I hope it all goes well because some babies are a lot pickier than others. So it just depends how much of a prick my kid's gonna be.
So let me ask you, how involved has Devin been with everything?
He's been pretty involved. I think he's only missed one ultrasound so far. So he's been super involved in absolutely everything. He wants to be there. He wants to, help buy the baby clothes and meet the family. And we just went on a trip to BC with my dad. So he's really trying to bond with the whole family here.
Wait, so he went with your dad to British Columbia then?
Yes, so
Um,
I went with them, obviously. So it was
Oh,
my
you
dad.
gotta let him go on his own. You got to let him hold his own and hang out and fend for himself, because I think, in my opinion, that would impress your dad more, because your dad's gonna test him. Your
Yeah.
dad is going to, him and his boys, they're gonna mess with Devin, they're gonna test him, and that's exactly what it is. And from speaking with Devin the last time, I think he's not the type of guy like your dad would hang out with, but I think he could be tough enough to be able to handle the ribbings and getting messed with. And I think that would impress your dad, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, Dad didn't really give it an option. Dad definitely wanted me there, so obviously I was gonna go
Okay.
because he wanted me there. But you know, I'm going to bed early. Like I'm tired all the time, so I'm going to bed early, and they're staying up and they're partying and they're drinking together. And when we're out fishing on the boat, you know, Dad will give him like little bee stings on the back of his arm while he's
Oh
trying
yeah.
to pick. Oh yeah, just bugged the absolute hell out of Devin. But Dad thought it was entertaining, you know. He's like, hey, well, this kid's got to learn what we're all about, right? So
So let me ask you this: has it been difficult to cut out any drinking or smoking weed and stuff now that you're pregnant? Because that, I feel like that would be a really, really hard thing.
yeah, it was, you know, I think of it as like a mind over matter. That's how I was raised, and that's how I think myself, mind over matter. So if, you know, if I lived without it before, I can fucking live without it now, right? It is definitely difficult because before I got pregnant, I was smoking a bunch of dabs and watching Ancient Aliens and doing, so now I don't know what to do with my life because I'm dead ass stone cold sober, and everyone else around me is drinking and whatever. Like obviously I wish I could do that, but I have the rest of my life to do that.
Oh, you
So
will. You'll be able to. I'm glad you're being responsible.
yeah, it has been hard, especially since I was a full-time smoker as well. So I'm currently still trying to quit smoking because I just get very, very bitchy. So I'm still trying to quit smoking, but you know, like I am trying to be super beneficial. Like I'm taking all my supplements. I haven't smoked any weed. I haven't touched any alcohol. I'm trying to be a responsible parent for my kid because I don't want my kid to look like Sid the Sloth when it's coming out.
Yeah. So, have you been trying to stay away from people when it comes to COVID right now? Because that's probably one of the last things you want to do is get sick.
Yeah. Just because pregnant women do have, you know, a lower immune system because it's all
Yeah.
going to the baby.
Yep.
So what they recommend is like my prenatal doctor recommended that, you know, like if you're gonna go out anywhere, you constantly wear a mask. If you're around a lot of people, wear a mask, constantly sanitize your hands, right? Like because they don't know the effects on how it could affect a child and a mother at the same time yet.
Yeah.
So people will just tell me, just treat it like the flu, you know, wear a mask, wear your gloves, you know, do what you got to do, just be safe. I personally don't believe in the whole COVID shit.
All
So
right. Okay.
I do try and keep my distance from people because obviously I don't want to get sick myself. So I do keep my distance and I do wear my mask, but at the same time, I don't take it super seriously and try and quarantine more just because I'm pregnant. I still want to go out and live my life.
Yeah. All right, Hannah, tell people how they can find you on social media. I think you need to be posting as much stuff as you can because I think people will want to keep up with it.
Yeah, so I do need to keep up on that, but my social media, so Twitter is at from Hannah, HANNAH, and my Instagram is Hannah from Canada _ on each side, so _ Hannah from Canada _.
All right, Hannah, I appreciate it. I'm always around if you need to talk, if you need me to do anything or just need to shoot the shit, I'm always around.
Perfect, sounds good. Thank you so much, Tuddle, and I appreciate being on your show.
No problem. Have a wonderful day.
All right, see you later.